A very good morning and welcome to Shomoita Rupkathara. Let's start the third installment of Life Secret. This is a story which we were reading. We are reading from Folktales of Bengal. This book was written by Reverend Lal Bihari Day. It is a very old book. These stories were first published in the year of 1883. So till now, what we have seen that Dalim Kumar, who has been killed by some conspiracy of his stepmother Duo Queen, has revived, and his revival was intermittent. Each and every day, whenever his stepmother usually remove the necklace from her neck, Dalim Kumar usually get revived from the trance of death, and then in between he met a beautiful princess, and who is actually the niece of Bidhata Purusha. Who is the Bidhata Purusha? The Bidhata Purusha is a god. It's a god who decides the fate of each and every mortal being. So let's start what happened next. We are going to see. While the niece of the divine Bidhata Purusha was partaking of the hospitality of Dalim Kumar, his friend, as usual, made his appearance. He was surprised not a little at the sight of the fair stranger, and his surprise became greater when he heard the story of the young lady from her own lips. It was forthwith resolved that very night to unite the young couple in the bonds of matrimony. As priests were out of the question, the hymeneal rites were performed as per Gandharva Vivaha ritual. The friend of the bridegroom took leave of the newly married couple and went away to his house. As the happy pair had spent the greater part of the night in wakefulness, it was long after sunrise that they awoke from their sleep. I should have said that the young wife woke from her sleep, for the prince had become a cold corpse, life having departed from him at that time. The feelings of the young wife may be easily imagined. She shook her husband, imprinted warm kisses on his cold lips, but in vain. He was a lifeless as a marble statue. He was as lifeless as a marble statue. Stricken with horror, she smote her breast, struck her forehead with the palms of her hands, tore her hair, and went about in the house and in the garden as if she had gone mad. Dalim's friend did not come into the house during the day, as he deemed it improper to pay a visit to her while her husband was lying dead. The day seemed to the poor girl as long as a year, but the longest day has its end, and when the shades of evening were descending upon the landscape, her dead husband was awakened into consciousness. He rose up from his bed, embraced his disconsolate wife, ate, drank, and became merry. His friend made his appearance as usual, and the whole night was spent in gaiety and festivity. Amid this alteration of life and death did the prince and his lady spend some 7 or 8 years, during which time the princess presented her husband with two lovely boys who were the exact image of their father. It is superfluous to remark that the king, the two queens, and other members of the royal household did not know that Dalim Kumar was living, at any rate, was leaving at night. They all thought that he was long ago dead and his corpse burnt, but the heart of Dalim's wife was yearning after her mother in law, whom she had never seen. She conceived a plan by which she might be able not only to have a sight of her mother in law, but also to get hold of the Duo Queen's necklace, on which her husband's life was dependent. With the consent of her husband and of his friend, she disguised herself as a female barber. Like every female barber, she took a bundle containing the following articles: an iron instrument for paring nails, another iron instrument for scraping off the superfluous flesh of the soles of the feet, a piece of jhama or burnt brick for rubbing the soles of the feet with, and alakta for painting the edges of the feet and toes with. Alakta is a red colored dye which usually Bengali girls as well as the married women and beautify their feet with it. And sometimes in the performance of any kind of traditional dances is the palm of the hands also are being decorated with this alakta or alta. Taking this bundle in her hand, she stood at the gate of the king's palace with her two boys. She declared herself to be a barber and expressed a desire to see the show queen, who readily gave her an interview. The queen was quite taken up with the two little boys, who she declared strongly reminded her of her darling Dalim Kumar. Tears fell profusely from her eyes at the recollection of her lost treasure, but she, of course, had not the remotest idea that the two little boys were the sons of her own dear Dalim. She told the supposed barber that she did not require her service, as since the death of her son she had given up all the terrestrial vanities, and among others the practice of dyeing her feet red. But she added that nevertheless, would be glad now she would be glad now and then to see her and her two fine boys. The female barber, for so we must now call her, then went to the quarters of the duo queen and offered her services. The queen allowed her to pare her nails, to scrape off the superfluous flesh of her feet, and to paint them with alakta, and was so pleased with her skill and the sweetness of her disposition that she ordered her to wait upon her periodically. The female barber noticed with no little concern the necklace round the queen's neck. The day of her second visit came on, and she instructed the elder of her two sons to set up a loud cry in the palace and not to stop crying till he got into his hand the duo queen's necklace. It will be she got into her hands the duo queen's necklace. The female barber accordingly went again on the appointed day to the duo queen's apartments. While she was engaged in painting the queen's feet, the elder boy set up a loud cry. On being asked the reason of the cry, the boy, as previously instructed, said that it was impossible for her to part with that particular necklace. Uh, asked sorry she while she was engaged in painting the queen's feet, the elder boy set up a loud cry. On being asked the reason of the cry, the boy, as previously instructed, said that he wanted the queen's necklace. The queen said that it was impossible for her to part with that particular necklace, for it was the best and most valuable of all her jewels. To gratify the boy, however, she took it off her neck and put it into the boy's hand. The boy stopped crying and held the necklace tight in his hand. As the female barber, after she had done her work, was about to go away, the queen wanted the necklace back, but the boy would not part with it. When his mother attempted to snatch it from him, he wept bitterly and showed as if his heart would break. On which the female barber said, "Will your majesty be gracious enough to let the boy take the necklace home with him? When he falls asleep after drinking his milk, which he is sure to do in the course of an hour, I will carefully bring it back to you." The queen, seeing that the boy would not allow it to be taken away from him, agreed to the proposal of the female barber, especially reflecting that Dalim, whose life depended on it, had long ago gone to the adobe of death, thus possessed of the treasure on which the life of her husband depended, and depended. The woman went with breathless haste to the garden house and presented the necklace to Dalim, who had been restored to life. Their joy knew no bounds, and by the advice of their friend, they determined the next day to go to the palace in state and present themselves to the king and the Shuo queen. Due preparations were made. An elephant richly caparisoned with brought was brought for the Prince Dalim Kumar, a pair of ponies for the two little boys, and a chaturdola or palanquin, a kind of palanquin furnished with curtains of gold lace for the princess. Word was sent to the king and the Shuo queen that the Prince Dalim Kumar was not only alive, but that he was coming to visit his royal parents with his wife and sons. The king and Shuo queen could hardly believe in the report, but being assured of its truth, they were entranced with joy, while the Duo queen, anticipating the disclosure of all her wiles, became overwhelmed with grief. The procession of Dalim Kumar, which was attended by a band of musicians, approached the palace gate, and the king and Shuo queen went out to receive their long lost son. It is needless to say that their joy was intense. They fell on each other's neck and wept. Dalim then related all the circumstances connected with his death. The king, inflamed with rage, ordered the Duo queen into his presence. A large hole, a deep as the height of a man, was dug in the ground. The Duo queen was put into in it. A standing posture, prickly thorn was heaped around her up to the crown of her head, and in this manner she was buried alive. Thus my story endeth. The Natyathron withered. Why, O Natyathron, dost wither? Why does thy cow on me browse? Why, O cow, dost thou browse? Why does thy neat herd not tend me? Why, O neat herd, dost know not tend the cow? Why does the daughter-in-law not give me rice? Why does thy daughter in law not give me rice? Why, O daughter in law, dost not give rice? Why does my child cry? Why, O child, dost thou cry? Why does the ant bite me? Oh, why, O ant, dost thou bite? Kut, kut, kut. So, my dear friends, there are few errors, and I wish that I really request you to please overlook those mistakes, because I am trying hard to improve myself, and I hope you have enjoyed this story in a three installment, and we will meet again on Sunday with a new story. Perhaps the story will be Fakir Chand. So till then, in the eve of 26th Republic Day of our nation, I wish all of you happy 26th January, Prajatantra Divas, as well as to all of my listeners and my friends. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for supporting me. I request you to subscribe my channel, whatever platform you are accessing my videos. Please support me in terms of liking, sharing, and commenting on my videos, as well as subscribing my channel. So thank you to all of my friends from YouTube, as well as my beloved Daily Hunt platform. So thanks a lot. See you in Wednesday in the Poems of a Teacher segment. Ta-ta.